Naveen al-Raha is from Damascus. Back in October, when her residency permit in Denmark was rejected, she also walked along the promenade Copenhagen to say goodbye to the Little Mermaid. Two women trapped between two worlds. If her appeal fails, she will either have to return to Damascus voluntarily or be placed in a deportation centre. Naveen arrived here in 2014 with her father. Because of her anti-Assad activism, it was agreed she would leave her husband and two children to go to Denmark. The idea, she'd travel first, then apply for family reunification. It didn't work out that way. Eventually, her husband remarried. Denmark is the first country in the EU to revoke residency permits, which were never permanent, for people like Naveen, deeming Damascus and its environs safe to return to. And indeed, the bombs are not falling anymore on neighbourhoods like Yarmouk, where Naveen is from. There are about 100 Syrians in the same position as Naveen and Rahab in Denmark, up for return with residency rejected. If they refuse to go back, they could be put in a deportation centre. If they go back voluntarily, they could receive a €30,000 incentive per adult to do so. About 130 Syrians have taken up this option. An estimated 30,000 have arrived in Denmark since the war started in Syria. The Danish government's perspective is, I guess, that why should the Danish state have to look after you forever?
Yeah, it's like that.
But why should the Danish state have to look after you forever?
Why they're saying we are welcome?
In the first place?
Yeah.
Well, their argument was that it was never a permanent arrangement, that it was always just a temporary arrangement, and now that's coming to an end for some people, so that's the end of the deal.
But we tried to be a part of this country. We did what they want. We work.
The minority Social Democrat government has co-opted the hardline immigration policies of the right-wing populist Danish People's Party. The Prime Minister here talks zero tolerance when it comes to new asylum seekers. People who represent to some voters an assault on the welfare system here. How close do you think we are to somebody actually being physically and forcibly removed?
Yes, to Syria anytime soon it is unlikely that will happen because we don't cooperate with Assad. And as long as we don't do that, we can't force anyone to go back to Syria. So
they're going to be stuck someplace else for years?
They will have to live in a center until they either the situation changes in Syria or they chose to go back voluntarily, as some of their countrymen already has done.
This is where policy and people collide. For Naveen, the bombs have stopped, but the regime endures. She recalls being on a bus at a checkpoint in Damascus 7 years ago.
He trying pushing this minibus and say some bad words for all of us and saying, I will kill all of you. And in the end, she gave up. She preferred that she get killed or they arrested her not to make all of us in this situation. Can you imagine this moment? You feel it's not your country. It's not a country to live. Why? What she said, just a word. She don't deserve that. I was watching her. I don't know what happened for her.
When does a refugee stop being one? When does home stop being that? And when will Naveen stop having nightmares where she is the woman on the bus?